Hello. So, this is the engine from the last blue car that I did that had a dead cylinder. So we're going to do a teardown of the engine. Basically, I'm just going to be removing the head and taking stuff off the front. We're not going to get too picky as far as that goes. It's tearing down the bottom end because right now, well, we don't need to. So we're just going to see if we can find anything that was bad or caused our issue. For no compression, whether it's a bad valve, piston, scoring in the wall, we should be able to see because we'll be able to rotate the engine around. Pretty much stuff like that. So let's get everything pulled. Let's start with our valve cover, which was just laying on here. All right, well, seems like it's going to be easier just to go right to the back here. So let's get this exhaust manifold off the cylinder head. Okay, so if you were watching this and you're wondering what this hole is up here, this had an exhaust gas temperature sensor at one time installed in that car or on that manifold. All right, factory gasket. Looks like we have one stud, which I'll have to get another nut and then I can extract that. I can let it in. It's probably just going to be better if I take it out. All right, now we're on the other side. So we have our lines here, which should be 113, I guess. So we'll grab a wrench for that. I'm going to grab channel locks because I'm going to break this line loose here and separate it from this on that, which would be easier. Then I'll be able to take it off here also, right there. I didn't get up and grab a 13 wrench yet. So we're going to do that. And then we can get this, and that everything is separated off of this head. So now we're down to the point of actually removing the cylinder head here. I have the valve cover down here. I don't know if it's been seen. It can be seen out. I have the valve cover here, okay? Laying like this. So basically, if I flip it over, it's gonna be like this. So I have the big open spot, which is toward your cam gears, and that's toward your cam sensor. So what I do is I'll lay this down, because when you remove these cam caps, you want to reinstall them 100% back in the same way that they were. So this one you want here, it's not going over here or over here. They're all line board to be in a certain location. Typically what you should do is you should have a punch, and this should be numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and they should be measured. It should also have, maybe you could put like an I for intake. You would also do the back the same here. You could put exhaust or rear or front or intake, depending on the punches that you have, because these are actually labeled front and with the arrows going that way. Same with this, or left and is it left and front? L and R, L and F. So R1. So sometimes they will be labeled, sometimes they won't. It just depends if somebody took it apart to redo the head. I'm going to grab my small impact with a 10 and an 8 and get everything broke loose, and I'm going to take the bolts out, and then I'll probably have to tap the caps with a rubber mount or a plastic hammer, and then we'll get everything separated. Pick our cams out, and then we can get down in here and I'll show you what that looks like. We're going to use the impact to remove the head bolts. Get these caps off and set in place. All right, so if you're not paying attention, I'm not spinning these because this will have to come up off of here and be set right back where it needs to be. Looks like I'm gonna have to tap all this in. It's off. All right. Okay. So, make sure you can see. Okay, so everything is removed. I mean, looks like there's a little bit of wear here and here. I mean, we are talking a used motor, so it's starting to show here. But that's what it looks like when you want to lay your stuff out. Your cams right here, they're just gonna pretty much lift right out. Okay, we were pretty much top dead center because you want to see these holes in the cam up. All right, now, if you were removing the rockers and the lifters, that's all you got to do. But we're not going to be doing that. So right now, we need to get down in here with the big impact. Make sure I got the right size socket. Okay, these head bolts are one-time use, so let's get them removed. Let's start in the middle. we have, where's it at? Got a magnet. Drop these right in the bucket. So there you go. Used head bolts. Actually, usually they're a little dirtier than that down in there. Like that. See how that one's brown? That one's cleaner. Okay. So that's all of our head bolts. All right, now that that's taken care of, what we're going to want to do is reinstall everything like this. Okay. So we're going to set our cam. Make sure I got these in the right place. Don't look right. I think I set the wrong one. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so intake, 2 holes, thread in the middle, exhaust knot. So we're gonna set these down in here. It's tight. Just make sure our is up. We're gonna take our caps. We're gonna reinstall everything right back where it was. Okay. Okay. So we're just going to tighten these down. One more 8. We have this 13. Okay, here we go. Head gasket looks good. Nothing in between here. Doesn't seem tight. I can't remember which cylinder it was. Let's grab a flashlight. This end one over here has got some scoring in the wall. Get down there very little. I mean, it's hard to tell. I think it was either 1 or 3. This here just looks weird to me. Yeah. It's gotta be right here. I can feel that. right here in the wall. It's got like, feels ripply. All right, let's flip this cylinder head over. Take a look. Now, there we go. This was probably, you can see now we got number 4. So there was our problem. That valve right there. That is why we had no compression in that cylinder. And I mean, there's the thing, like, you have an engine with, all right, so you have an engine with 140,000 miles on it. Find out you have low compression. If you did a lick down test, you could see where that went, all right? So in being that, could you pull the motor off, pull the head off of the motor in the car? Yes, it can be done. It's, to me, you're disconnecting everything except for the air conditioning off of the engine. So at this point, to me, I would just pull the motor. Not only that, I mean, you know, you're spending the money on the top end. Clean up some stuff while you're in there. I mean, this thing looked like it probably should have had an oil pan gasket. It could have been cleaned up. Front main, just everything looked over, double checked, you know what I mean? Flip it over, pop the bottom off, look inside the pan. I mean, there is some carbon buildup in here. That one, I think, which one was it? It was that one. There's carbon buildup in these first 3, but that one's actually pretty clean across the top of the cylinder. Moisture. So, I mean, the bottom end technically looks okay. We know this motor did run. We know it didn't knock or bang or anything like that. So, you're pulling your cylinder head off. You're already going to need 1 valve. So, you know, you're sending it out. The labor's the same whether you build the cylinder head, put aftermarket cams, or springs and stuff in it. The labor's all the same. So you have all the gaskets to take this apart, all the fluids. Right now it looks like it needs 1 valve. It might need more. It's going to need, you might as well put all new valve seals in it. You might as well have it cleaned and checked, which, you know, they deck it or whatever if it's out of round. So when you put it back on, you aren't having any problems. You know, and at that point, when you're putting new valves in, you're getting a valve job. So they're, you know, they're seating the valves correctly. So they all should be pulled out. Everything should be gone over. So even if you're reusing some of them parts, you're having the same amount of labor as if you're sticking all new components in it, or even having the head ported. So, you know, at that point, the amount of money you spend getting a cylinder head done, is it good? Yes, to a point. But, you know, in all reality, since I started messing with these engines, I've had more people ask me for bottom ends than cylinder heads. You know, I have a built cylinder head, I redid it, my bottom end blew. So, because they got a knock in their bottom end, because they were running it hard because they had their top end redone and they got a bigger turbo on it. Because these bottom ends do take quite a bit of wear and tear and use. So, like I said, this needs a valve. There's a good chunk off the side of it. I mean, there's no other damage from that piece inside here. But we'll get this camera down here. We'll just check this out again. So if you take a look, you can see there's carbon across the top of those cylinders. And if you look down in there, pretty much the whole piston's coated. All right, then you get over here to this one, you got a clean spot. And if you look along that top back edge where that valve was, toward the top, there's none. There's no carbon back there. It's all cleaned off. So that's what we found. That's why we don't have any compression in that cylinder, because we burn a valve. All right, well, it is what it is. Now we know. See you in the next one.